Welcome to Northwest Airguns. I'm John, and today we're going to take a look at a scope. This one is from CVLife, and it's a 2.5 to 10 power by I think 40 on the objective. It's got an adjustable objective in the front, illuminated, and all the bells and whistles. And what happened with this was I was on the GTA forum, Gateway to Airguns forum. I'll put a link in the description to that forum. And they have something called Bargain Gate. And in the Bargain Gate, a guy posted up that you could get a scope from CVLife. I think it was a 4.5 by 14. And it was only $27 shipped. And I thought, well, you know, I've spent $27 in worse ways than that. And so I went out online and I ordered one. I actually ordered 3, and, you know, figuring if they're any good, why, that was a heck of a price. And they emailed me back, the company did, and said, you know, we're sorry, we made a mistake there, and it shouldn't be $27. It should be like $100 or something. So I canceled my order, but we got into this kind of an email situation. And I said, well, I'm an air gunner, and I'm interested in scopes that could be used by air gunners. So anyway, long story short, they sent me this scope, and we're going to unbox it and then put it through the paces and see how it does on air guns. Well, here's the box. It's interesting. It comes with some warnings here. Ingestion, don't ingest it. Death can occur if you swallow it. Stuff like that. So keep out of the reach of children, so on and so forth. Well, those are good warnings. I will make sure not to ingest this thing. Let's see if I can get it out of the box here. There we go. Okay, so it comes like this in the box. I'll set that aside. Well, let's take a look, see what's in there. This is come on. Help me out here. There's no tape or anything. It's just stubborn. Come on. I'm going to win here too. Oh, okay. There we go. That's what it was. Okay, this is the this is a cantilevered mount that they send with it, and it's a Picatinny mount, and these are 30 millimeter rings because it's a 30 millimeter scope on the tube. Now, up until recently, airguns didn't have Picatinny rails. Most of them had the 3/8 inch or 11 millimeter dovetail. So if CVLife wanted to really appeal to airgunners, they might look into giving you the option of the Picatinny or the dovetail mount. And I don't know exactly why this is a cantilever. Maybe because it's, you know, they expect it to interfere with the magazine or something like that. But you get the rings with it and the mounts, and you get a couple of extra screws. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4 extra screws. Yeah, these are spares in here. That's a kind of a nice touch. And the wrench to tighten all the screws up. So there's the mount. The scope itself, let's see, there's the instructions. This is the 2 to 10 by 32. Correct myself, whatever I said earlier. Second focal plane rifle scope. And they give you some specifications and stuff here, and you know how to mount it and different things like that. Oh, I forgot to mention it comes with 2 batteries for the illumination function, and I used one right away and still have a spare. Comes with a wrench for something, I'm not sure yet, probably the turrets. Yeah, the turrets for locking the turrets down. And here is the scope itself. The cloth here to clean the glass. And there it is. So the scope is all of 9.5 to 10 inches. So it's a kind of a compact little thing. And it looks like it weighs 2 pounds roughly, 1 pound, 1.6 ounces. So no, it's about a little over a pound. It's not too bad. That's a nice light, compact scope. So one thing about a lot of the scopes that are on the market now is they market them for long range shooting, like you're shooting elks at 300 yards or 500 yards or, you know, that kind of distance. But it turns out a lot of these long range hunting scopes are actually okay and well suited for airgun use as well. The main thing that we're looking for, and these are the scope caps on each end, the main thing we're looking for with an airgun scope is that it focuses down to the type of distances that we're going to be shooting at. And this one has a marking at 7.5 yards, but it actually goes beyond that, so it may go down to like 5 or 6 or something. There's 10 yards, and then of course it goes out to infinity. So if these will focus down to 10 yards or even less, and be pretty reliable and clear out to about 50, 75, even 100 yards nowadays, that means it's suitable for airgun use. I mentioned it comes with the scope caps, and those are, you know, they just pop on and pop off, so pretty easy to use there. It's got the ocular adjustment here where you adjust the reticle to your eye. Pretty much every scope has that. It's a 2 to 10 power, so that's pretty usable for air guns. You know, a lot of times we like to have a little bit more magnification, but 10 power is fine. So 2 to 10, this turns pretty easily. It's not a real stiff turn. This has illuminated reticle. It's an etched reticle. It's illuminated, and this is where you turn it on and turn it to the different power settings. It comes both green and red, depending on which one you want to use. And then of course you got the elevation turret and the windage turret. And this says 1 click is 1/2 MOA. So basically at 100 yards, 1 click would be 1/4 of an inch, or excuse me, 1 click is 1/2 inch at 100 yards. So at 50 yards, 1 click would be 1/4. 25 yards, 1 click would be 1/8 of an inch movement in the point of impact. So those are some of the features here, and the same thing on the windage. 1 click is 1/2 MOA, minute of angle. Let's see, is that it? Yeah, that's it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside and take a look at the reticle in this, and we'll check out the illumination features too. This is the reticle that's shown in the owner's manual, but let's go ahead and take a look through the scope and see how the reticle and the illumination works in practice. First is the red dot, and it's got 5 intensity settings from low to high. And then we look at the green dot again with 5 intensity settings. Overall, the illumination is pretty dynamic, and you can see that it can be adjusted by color and intensity to fit pretty much any low light situation you might run into. Well, you can't see the illumination very well or at all in sunny or well lit conditions. But here's a look as we approach dusk. Again, we're looking at different intensity levels for both the green and the red dots. Overall, I like the illuminated dot and circle reticle. It makes it really easy to get on target in a low light situation. Here's a look through the scope using the iScope camera mount and my iPhone. Now this is looking at my back fence at about 3 power and at about 20 yards. And yes, I struggled with the alignment of the iPhone mount to get a good look through the scope, and you'll certainly notice that in other parts of this video. Just know that the scope is much clearer to the eye than is depicted here. And here it is at 10 power. So you'll notice it's a pretty clear picture, and there's not a lot of blur around the outside edges. It's pretty consistent in focus all the way across the scope. I thought I'd see how close the scope can focus, and it can go down to about 7 yards, which is a really good feature for an airgun scope. You can see my iPhone is struggling to decide whether to focus on the plant or the reticle. But anyway, it does focus down pretty clear here at 7 yards. Next, I put the scope through the box test. It's basically checking to see if the scope can return to 0 after adjusting the turrets. I took one shot at 0 in the center bowl. Then I pulled the elevation turret and adjusted up half a turn, writing down my start and stop points. And as you can see, the second shot was pretty much right above the first, which is what I expected. So then I adjusted the windage turret and took another shot. Next, I adjusted the elevation turret back to its original position. And then finally, the windage turret back to its original position. Well, no, ignore that shot. I pulled it and knew right away as I shot it that it would be a little bit off. So let's try again. And there you have it. This scope performed the box test as well as some of my more expensive scopes, which is pretty impressive for a budget scope like this. Well, just for the heck of it, I set up a field target to see if I could knock it down using this scope. And I could easily every time. And now I wouldn't recommend this scope for competition because it isn't intended for that purpose. And it doesn't have the fine range estimating through the focus knob. But I happen to know the exact distance because I set up the field target next to my sighting targets. All right, let's wrap this up. Here's the scope. I've got it mounted on a dummy rifle. You know, I actually took this around the neighborhood and looked through it at different things, and I didn't want to alarm my neighbors with, you know, the barrel and a real gun. That could have led to some real trouble for me. But anyway, I got it here. I've got the iPhone or iScope mount here that I use my iPhone to take pictures and video, and I struggled with that big time, getting the full picture through the scope and having it clear on the target and clear on the reticle and aligning this. And you'll see, or you have seen in some of the video we shot, that there's some dark areas and stuff. So I really struggled with that. If you have a good solution for shooting pictures or video through a scope, let me know what works for you, because I'm interested in being able to do that in a consistent way. So the point is, it's clearer looking through the scope with your eye than it is using the attachment in the iPhone. So this is one of those scopes where we usually say, for the money, it's a pretty good scope, and it is. It's a pretty good scope for the money. You get a lot of functionality with the illumination. You got the adjustable objective. You got 2 to 10 power. And I was surprised when we did the box test that it did so well tracking the shots and then returning back to our 0 after a bunch of clicks on the turret. And those clicks are actually real positive too. So all in all, I was impressed with the quality of this at that price. And it's around $100, I think, online at the CVLife or at their website or at Amazon. But CVLife also has sales that go on pretty often, and they recently had these for 40% off. So that's $60. I might buy another one for that price. the things I like, you know, I'm not a big fan of the illumination, but if you're going to have it, this is a really crisp and positive turn to get the different colors and the different power levels. And I really like the reticle with the round, the circle, and then the dot in the middle. And there's some other Christmas tree stuff, but that really draws your eye into the target. It's almost like the old peep sights, where it really puts your eye, you know, to where you're trying to shoot. So I actually like that. As far as downsides, they bundle the scope with the Picatinny scope mount. And that's fine, but a lot of airguns are dovetail. And so you'd have to get an adapter, you know, dovetail to Picatinny. And I've suggested to the company that they ought to give the option for airgunners to have either the Picatinny scope mount or dovetail. That would be an improvement. You know, the scope is marketed as a long-range scope, but it has the functionality that makes it suitable for us airgunners too. The minimum focus of 7 yards, the illumination, and I really like the circle and dot reticle. It's got some Christmas tree stuff there if you're taking longer shots and get your trajectory doped out. All right, well, you know, I've been doing product reviews here lately, and I did take on some things to review, and now I've got to get them done. So they've kind of taken the place of some of my other projects, and hopefully we'll start getting back to those pretty soon here. I've got a couple things that I think are going to be pretty cool that most of us airgunners will be interested in. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.